What if everything you thought you saw between Dylan Wang and Shen Yue wasn't just acting? What if behind the laughter, behind the playful interviews, behind those coincidental glances, there was a hidden language one only they understood? Because fans didn't just notice chemistry. They noticed patterns, strange, subtle, almost coded behaviors that kept repeating on set, off set, in interviews, and even when cameras weren't supposed to be rolling. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It started innocently enough. A look here, a smile there. The kind of effortless connection that made their performances unforgettable. But then came that moment one fans replayed over and over again. Shen Yue says something simple, and before she even finishes, Dylan Wang reacts. Not like someone hearing it for the first time, but like someone who already knew what she was going to say. Coincidence, maybe? But then it happened again. And again. Suddenly, fans weren't just watching scenes, they were decoding interactions. The way his eyes would subtly shift when she laughed. The way she would pause, just for a fraction of a second, as if waiting for his silent cue. It was almost like they were having two conversations at once, one out loud, and one completely hidden. And that's where things started to feel different. Because in one behind-the-scenes clip, something unusual happens. The cast is joking around, the energy is chaotic. Everyone's talking over each other, and yet, in the middle of that noise, Shen Yue makes a tiny gesture. Barely noticeable. Most people would miss it. But Dylan Wang doesn't. He instantly responds. Not verbally, but with a look. A knowing look. The kind of look that says, I got the message. No words, no explanation. Just understanding. Fans froze. Because that wasn't scripted. So what was it? That's when theories exploded. Some believed it was just natural chemistry. Two actors so in sync that they didn't need words anymore. But others, they weren't convinced. They started pointing out how often this silent communication happened. The repeated gestures, the mirrored movements, the almost telepathic timing. And then came the interviews. That's where things got even more interesting. In one particular interview, Shen Yue is asked a simple question about her co-star. She laughs, brushes it off. But before she answers, she glances at Dylan, not once, not casually, but deliberately, as if checking something, as if asking permission, without speaking. And Dylan, he gives the smallest nod. Blink and you miss it. But she sees it. And only then does she answer. That moment alone sent fans into a frenzy. Because now it wasn't just about chemistry, it was about connection. A connection that seemed to operate on a completely different level. But here's where it gets even more mysterious. During a live event, something unexpected happens. The host asks a question that clearly catches Shen Yue off guard. For a split second, she looks unsure. The room goes quiet. The pressure builds. And then Dylan steps in. Like he knew she needed help before she even reacted. Like he was watching her. Not as a co-star, but as someone deeply attuned to her every move. And fans noticed. They started asking, how do two people become that in sync? Because this wasn't rehearsed. You can't script instinct. You can't fake that level of awareness, not consistently. Not across so many moments, not in front of so many different cameras. Unless there was something more, something unspoken, something hidden. And that's where the idea of a secret language took hold. Not a literal language, but a system, a rhythm, a way of communicating through micro-expressions, timing, and subtle cues that only they seemed to understand. A glance that meant wait, a smile that meant, I've got you. A pause that spoke louder than any line of dialogue. And the more fans looked back, the more they found. Moments where they would unconsciously mirror each other's movements. Times when one would start a sentence and the other would finish it. Instances where they would react before anything even happened. Like they were always one step ahead. always connected. But here's the twist. Not everyone sees it the same way. Some say it's just professional synergy. Two talented actors who spent enough time together to develop an almost instinctive bond. Others believe it's something deeper, something emotional, something they chose not to put into words, but couldn't completely hide either. And maybe that's the real mystery. Because the truth is, we only see what they allow us to see. The interviews, the clips, the behind-the-scenes moments, they're all fragments, pieces of a puzzle that fans are desperately trying to put together. But what if the full picture was never meant to be revealed? What if that secret language isn't something we're supposed to fully understand? Because sometimes the most powerful connections aren't the ones explained out loud. They're the ones felt in silence. The ones that exist in between words, in fleeting glances, in shared moments that don't need translation. And maybe that's exactly what makes it so captivating. So the next time you watch Dylan Wang and Shen Yue together, don't just listen to what they say. Watch closely, because the real conversation, it might be happening right in front of you, without a single word being spoken. And once you notice it, there's no going back.